What's going on, everybody? And welcome back to 30 Minutes to Unwind. I'm Corey. Whatever you're doing, wherever you're at, I'm glad you decided to stop by. It's been a while since we last talked. I had to take my own advice and take some time off from work for the first time in forever. Me, my wife, and part of our family traveled for spring break. We spent the week with our oldest and his family. We had a good time and no issues with TSA. And I must say that TSA pre-check really helped out a lot. And now I'm back to business as usual. So without further ado, let's get into it. The last episode, we talked about refueling and recognizing when you're running on fumes and taking the time to get your energy back. But today, we're talking about what comes after that. Because refueling is one thing, but if you go right back into the same habits at the same pace with the same pressure, you're going to end up right back where you started. So today, this is about the reset, not starting over, not rebuilding your whole life, just getting back to you the right way. Because here's the part people don't always talk about. It's that when you get your energy back, it doesn't automatically fix how you move. You can feel better and still fall right back into the same cycle that drained you in the first place. The same yes to everything, the same overloaded schedule, the same, okay, I'll figure it out later mindset. And before you know it, you're right back to running on fumes again. That's why the reset matters. The reset is where you stop, not to stop life, but to adjust to how you're living it. It's not about doing more. It's about doing things differently, moving with intention instead of just reacting to everything that comes at you. Because let's be real, most of us don't burn out from one big moment. It's the small stuff that keeps stacking up over time. Saying yes when you should have said no, not taking a break when you needed one, letting your time get pulled in every direction except your own. And it all doesn't happen at once. It builds quietly until one day you sit back and realize you don't feel like yourself anymore. That's your signal, not to panic, not to restart everything, just to reset. Because the reset isn't punishment, it's an adjustment. You're not starting from zero, you're starting from experience. You've already seen what works. Now it's about moving differently so you don't end up in the same place again. I think one of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking they need to start over every time they get off track. Like if things get chaotic, if your routine falls apart, if you're being overwhelmed for a few weeks, now I need to reset everything. New routine, new system, new mindset. Sounds good, but it's not realistic because you're not starting from the beginning. You've already been through it. You've already felt what burnout feels like. You've already seen what happens when you don't make time for yourself. So this isn't a restart, it's a correction. A reset is just stepping back and seeing what's working and what's not working. Being honest about it, not emotional, not dramatic. Just be real with yourself because sometimes everything isn't broken. It's just a few things you've been ignoring. And the truth is, those small things, they're usually the ones that's doing the most damage. It's the extra yes you didn't have the energy for, the skip break you told yourself you didn't need, the moment you fell off, but you kept pushing anyway. That's how things start to stack up. Not all at once, just little by little by little. And over time, it pulls you further away from yourself. Not because you're doing everything wrong, but because you stop checking in with what you're doing right. That's why the reset matters. It brings you back to awareness, back to control, back to making decisions on purpose instead of just reacting. I mean, just you got to stop reacting to everything around you, because once you can see it clearly, you don't need to rebuild everything. You just need to make small minor adjustments, adjust the things that's been working, things that's been paying off, and moving forward in a better way. Okay, this is where a lot of us struggle, me included. Once you realize something's off, the instinct is to fix everything at once. I need a clean slate, new plan, total overhaul. But that's usually where things fall apart, because you don't need to fix your whole life. You just need to identify what's draining you. And if you're being honest with yourself, you already know what that is. If it's your schedule, you got too much packed into your day, no real space to breathe, just moving from one thing to the next, or it's your boundaries, saying yes when you mean no, letting people or responsibilities take more from you than they should, or it's something even easier. You're not giving yourself any time to unwind at all. No reset time, no break, just constant motion. And over time, that catches up with you, catches up with me. But here's the key: you don't need 5 changes. You need 1 or 2 small changes, one thing that gives you space again, one adjustment that protects your energy. Because when you try to change everything, you overwhelm yourself. Now you're right back in the same cycle. But when you simplify it, when you focus on what matters, that's when your reset starts to stick. That's when it starts to kick in. That's when it becomes something you can maintain, not just something that sounds good for the moment. All right, let me ask you a question. What's one thing in your life right now that's draining you? And you probably already know what it is. And that one thing that needs to change. For me, I would say it's probably my job. That's only because I probably need to take more time off than I normally do. Prior to spring break, I probably haven't taken more than 3 days off in a row. But I'm about to fix that, because that reset I just experienced made me view things differently. When I return, man, I have a whole totally different mindset. So I'm going to be resetting quite a bit. All right. Now, this part right here, this is where everything either changes or stays the same, because recognizing the problem is one thing, taking a break is one thing. But if nothing changes in how you move, you're going to be right back into the same situation again. That's why this isn't about awareness, it's about intention. Moving differently this time, not perfect, not extreme, just intentional. It's saying no, even when it feels uncomfortable. Not waiting until you're exhausted, but building it in time so you don't get exhausted in the first place. It's protecting your unwind time like it matters, because it does. Understanding that you don't have to earn rest is something that you need. That shift alone changes how you show up in everything else, because you're not running on empty. You're moving with intention. You're not reacting to everything that comes at you. You're controlling your pace. And that's what self-preservation really looks like. You control your own pace. It's not stepping away from your responsibilities. It's making sure that you have the energy to handle them all and handle your responsibilities the right way, not being tired or sluggish. Because when you move differently after the reset, that's when the reset lasts and it becomes normal in your everyday routine in your life. And this is the part where everything comes together, because at this point, you've recognized what's off, you identify what needs to change. Now it's about, all right, what do you do next? Not tomorrow, not next week, but when this episode ends, get right into it. Because resets They don't happen in big moments. They happen in small decisions, the quiet ones, the ones that nobody sees, but you feel the difference. It's choosing not to overload your next day, even though you know you could. It's taking 10 minutes for yourself without feeling like, all right, I have to justify it. It's saying, I'll get that later, and meaning it. You might make a few people mad because they're used to you moving in a certain way, but now with this reset and this new mind, you're moving differently. But they'll get used to it, because here's the truth. If you don't protect your time, something else will take it every single time. And before you know it, you're right back to moving at a pace that doesn't work for you. That's why the reset isn't a one-time thing. It's something that you practice over and over and over again. Checking in with yourself, adjusting when things feel off, not waiting until you're completely drained. And I know how it is. Life doesn't slow down just because you decide to reset. The responsibilities are still there. People still need you. Things still have to get done. But the difference now is you're not losing yourself in the process. You're moving with awareness. You're making decisions on purpose. And that changes everything, because now you're not just getting through the day. You're actually in control of how you move through the day. And that's important. You'd rather be in control instead of just reacting. And that's what this is really about. Not perfection, not having everything figured out, just being more in tune with yourself than you were before. So as you move forward from here, keep it simple. One adjustment, one boundary, one moment where you choose yourself without guilt. And that's how the reset works. Not all at once, but little by little until it becomes how you move. And you don't find yourself running on fumes anymore because you never let it get that far gone. You catch it at the beginning. And that's the reset. And that's how you get back to you. Just with a simple reset. All right. Let's switch it up for a quick second. Congrats to the UCLA women's basketball team for winning the national championship 79-51 over South Carolina. And of course, a big congratulations to my Wolverines men's team for winning the national championship 69-63 over UConn. It was a great win. It wasn't a blowout like everybody thought. So they thought Michigan played a bad game because it wasn't a blowout, but a win is a win. A championship is a championship. Now it's time for the NBA playoffs. Hopefully we get a Lakers and Pistons rematch, but of course I'm stretching because OKC, I mean, they're a true problem in the West. The East, I'm not sure. The East is really up for grabs, so it can be anybody. But if you don't have an NBA team, root for my Lakers. Grab a seat on the bandwagon before we run out of room. All right. If this episode brought you some value or made you think, do me a favor, follow the show, leave a review, and share it with someone. Tell a friend to tell a friend. For show details, follow me on X at controlroom_media. That's Charlie, November, Tango, Romeo, Lima, room_media. You can find me on YouTube, IG, and Facebook by searching for Control Room Media Group. You can catch new episodes every Tuesday on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts by searching 30 Minutes to Unwind. Thank you, and I'll see you soon. Peace, and I'm out.